Good morning. Good afternoon to some of you. All right. So I've been kicking around this whole business planning thing. And each year, if you haven't noticed, our business plan consistently improves. And so I'll share this with you. I'm happy as a human to be alive because as random as this was, I almost broke my wrist. Putting up Christmas lights. And then the following day, as I woke up the morning, it's always sad when you reach this point where you realize you get a little older. My daughter is making fun of me singing I Believe I Could Fly because I jumped off a ladder and I didn't really contextually understand where this table was. And then the next day, I almost literally fell off a ladder. Like when I'm saying falling, like, you know that feeling when you're like this and you feel like you're going down? If I wasn't on a giant buddy ladder where I was able to grab onto it, I literally would have pulled the ladder down and like plunged to my death. So my story for you is with the context of if you're using a ladder or doing any of these things, really please be careful, right? They should put real warnings with Christmas lights. And we bought this Christmas tree in the dark and it was like 14 feet.
Okay.
So
So
yeah.
so obviously you didn't prep, A. B, the other lesson to learn is when you have a ladder, you always have somebody close by holding on and just being there while you're up the ladder.
But I had somebody there. My partner, she was there, but I was 11 and a half feet in the air and my daughter was reaching for a branch and it looked like she was going to fall in. So I leaned down to try to help her and that led to this. So anyhow, life is
And
precious. Yeah.
while we are thankful and grateful you're alive and kicking, right?
Yeah.
Folks, everybody on here.
Lesson is to
Exactly.
outsource it. That's the best thing.
That's right. You're making enough money to get somebody to pay someone
Yes.
to do the lights.
No,
Outsource.
there's just
Thank
something. The moral of the story is not in this case to outsource it. It's just to get an 8-foot tree that like you could just go up on a normal ladder like a normal human. But it was completely pitch dark. They said that the trees were 8 to 10 feet long. By the time we got to our house, the guy that set it up, it was 14 feet, and we were like, "Holy shit!" Right? Like it was a lot. So okay, so here's where we are. I share that with you because for some reason, somebody said to me on a call the other day, "What kind of mistakes do you make?" I was like, "You know what? On the next call, I'll share because I'm always doing something. If you live in my house with me, you'll quickly know I'm quick to." My mom always calls me the accelerated mistake maker. I like to make all the mistakes really fast. So, look, I wanted to break this down into two different parts. So, just pulling up my phone here as I took some notes for you guys this morning. I've never changed something as much as I have in a business planning session this year because, like, we could all agree it's been a pretty wonky year, right? And so the word motivation comes from the meaning motive to act, right? So, on this first call today, I wanted to really address you as people, right? And then the next week, we're sending an individual calendar invite, like a physical Google invite. So you'll see one come in, it'll be on the platform. We'll send you emails about it. We're going to be doing a 2-hour business planning session, right? No, you don't need anything prepared. You'll know what you need to do out of it. But this is a very, very different plan, even though it might look similar than for next year, right? One of the things that we're most excited about is I've actually mapped out the whole buyer side and seller side for all the skills and how to break it down over the course of a year, right? So, I wanted to think about how do we improve you, right? And when I went through this morning, I want you all to write this down. I want to be the standard. Write that down. I want to be the standard. Now, if you approached everything you did through that context, how could you not win? Think about that. If for everything you do in all areas of your life, you want to be the standard that everyone else wants to be, how do you lose? Explain that to me in just simple words. You can't, right? So I want you all to write that down. So what we're going to do to give you some context, right? I'm going to walk you through a process today. How many people know how their subconscious mind works?
Generally, somewhat.
Somewhat.
I mean, we did study in psychology, so some things you remember and some you don't.
Okay, so I'm going to give you my version. So like my fun fact, and somebody asked me this, they're like, do you use a coach? I'm like, I have like 4 to 5 different coaches at a time. As an individual, I've probably spent $200,000 to $300,000 a year on coaching, right? I've spent well over $1 million in my life on coaching, which I can share all these benefits with you. And so this is a compilation of all my greatest learnings of the brain, right? So your subconscious mind is the most powerful thing in your entire body. And then before you say the heart, yes, I get it. You need your heart to live, right? Now, the thing that people don't know about the subconscious mind is it can't delineate a negative or a positive thought. And its entire job is to take the things that we think about and bring them to life, right? So what we need to understand is this. Number one, that's how it works. Number two, it's set up for failure. Why is it set up for failure? Because our 2 most basic human needs for our brain are certainty and comfort. That says, I'm happy with where I am and what my life is like because I know what it's going to be. It's why every time you want to try something new, your brain starts saying, I can't do this. This isn't for me. It's not going to work. I don't have enough time. You know, all those things. That's why you're screwed. We're all screwed, right? Unless you make a proactive choice. So essentially, your brain, which is wired for certainty and comfort, is telling another part of your brain, the subconscious mind, stay the same, don't do anything. And that's where all those limiting beliefs kick in, right? And so now as we're fueling our subconscious brain with limiting beliefs, we're bringing a limited world into our lives, never full potential, right? So I always have a joke. I have the best idea. And people are like, Shrug, what's your great idea? Let's think a bunch of negative things and let's expect a bunch of great things to happen. The world just doesn't work that way. So this all starts with you, right? So the first thing that I want you to do is write down on top of a piece of paper. And at the end of this, I'm going to teach you how to make a statement. And I'm also going to teach you how to program your subconscious mind. Sounds good? Because look, what I realized is in 17,000 hours of doing this with you, if we can't get this part right, none of the other parts matter. Because that's why I say in order of importance, it's mindset, performance, and tactics. People sign up for all these coaching programs and tactics and they never do anything because they don't understand the first 2 parts and they don't understand how to control their brain, how their subconscious mind works, or anything else. So they're literally, excuse my language, they're fucked from the beginning. Suzanne's laughing because I had like 3 bad words in the first session too. It's kind of the only logical word. So I apologize in advance if I offended anybody, but it's the best word to describe it. Literally screwed, and then there's an emphasis on it, right? So when we start learning how to do this, you start realizing anything you want in life is possible when you know how to control your brain. So the first thing is you're going to write what I call an I am statement. So the first thing you're going to put on the top of this thing is I am the standard, right? The second thing is you need to know why. Like, why do you do what you do? Like, what is the reason? What's the reason? And anyone that feels guilty about saying the word money, don't. There is nothing wrong if the reason why you do your business is to make money. I know some clients that have the most client-friendly, feel-good business, and when you really get to know them and talk to them, all they care about is the dollar amount that's in their bank account at the end of the month and how many vacations they can go on their family and things they can do. Does not make you a bad person, does not mean that you don't care about business. It's just why you do your business. What's the reason? Does anyone have a reason? Do you, when you wake up in the morning, do you know why you do your business or why you're doing what you're doing in your life? The second is a purpose. Like, what's your purpose? If you asked me, what is my purpose? It is to maximize my human potential in my lifetime. That's it. And everything else falls underneath that. So what's the purpose? And the third one is, what is your motivation? Like, why are you, like, what are you doing it for? Right? And this turns into almost like a mission statement. Like when you wake up in the mornings, the first thing is, what is your mission that you wake up to every day? right? And that mission encompasses why you're doing something, what the purpose of it, and what motivates you. Like, and that thing needs to inspire you to move out of bed. Like, if I know my mission is to maximize my human potential on this earth, then every day I'm obsessing about maximizing my potential. What can I do to help more? What can I do to be more helpful? How can we give you more resources? How can we make the training better? How can we get like, how? Because without all those hows and without all those doings, there's no way that I maximize my potential on this earth. And when the only group of people I work with are the people here at Compass and all of us here in the CSC community, that is a laser focus, right? A laser purpose. And in all areas of my life, right? You should maximize your potential as a parent, as a partner. So within that mission statement is why, purpose, and motivation. So I'm going to call on Suzanne here. Suzanne, I'm going to unmute yourself. There's a mute button there somewhere.
Right there.
There we go.
Hi there.
So Suzanne, this is your second time coming back and listening to it. What was your aha moment that you could share with people from this morning till now?
Definitely planning for next year, 2025. AI, optimizing what I do every day. Get out of bed.
You, individual.
Probably to be more focused on better business.
What does that mean?
That means I find in Miami, like real estate is like amazing, tons of business all the time, but not the quality of business that I want.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just not in love with, you know, where people come from and why they're coming to me. I think I need to be more focused on generating better business, better clients, people that I can maybe short-lived, get them to commit
Got it. Now,
sooner. I mean,
yeah, well, look, you can't get people to commit sooner, right? You can filter better clients to understand what they really want, but a real estate agent has no influence, very minimal on somebody's time.
truly.
Right. And accepting that is like accepting things that can't change. Right. And the more you try to influence it, the more there'll be resistance. Right. So look, the one part about this, thank you. And now I'm going to challenge you. Think more about you. Right. The more focused and the better that we can be as people, the better everything else is. Right. So
Agree 1,000%.
yeah, I want you to put this together. I'm going to read the next one. Build yourself up so you can withstand the pressure in life. And to do that, you must suffer, right? Like, wait, what? Suffer? Yes, suffer, right? So here's the thing. Have you ever met a deal that goes well? It's why people hate real estate agents. I'm going to sell your house for the fastest amount of money in the least amount of time with the least amount of hassle. For the home, I'm going to sell your house for the most amount of money in the fastest amount of time with the least amount of hassle. Have you ever met a deal that doesn't come with a hassle and a problem? Never, because there are people and emotions and money involved. The people, emotions, and money equal hassle, right? Because no one ever sees things the same way. You deal with stress and a form of suffering every single day of your life. So the strongest thing that you can build is this. So you need to suffer and do something that you don't want to do, but know you need to do anyway, and learn to start forcing yourself to do it every day. And there's only 1 to 2 real places you could find that in life. As a salesperson, you could do it in prospecting because no one really wants to prospect, far and few between, right? But you know where the other place you can go and do it is? Anybody know? It's a 3-letter word. Gym. Go to the gym, right? So here is what I want all of you to do for next year. You're going to write this statement out, and this is going to be your new evening routine and your new morning routine, right? So the first thing is, when we have this statement, right? Like, I want you to write down all of these things as if they already happened, right? Like Rob Lane had said that he wants $6 million in his IRA. I have $6 million in my IRA. I work, I go on appointments every day where every client I want to work with says yes. And literally start writing out your life as if it already happened. All of the things, right? Is there anyone here looking for a life partner? Anybody? Okay, one person, right? I want you to write out as if you're living with that person already. If you have a partner and you want more out of it, write it if it's already happened, right? All of this stuff, your physical health, your wealth, your work, your clients, all of it. This thing could be a page long. It doesn't really matter. If it's like 3 or 4 sentences wrong, you did something wrong. Because like, if all you want is 3 or 4 sentences, I don't know. I think there's more because there's more areas of life, not that you have to have more. Now, what I want you to do is read this 3 to 5 times before you go to bed. Now, what you're doing is, and this needs to be the last thing that you read before you go to sleep, right? Not a screen, not a TV, nothing. This. So what happens is you're starting to program your mind to start thinking about this. Then when you wake up in the morning, the first 10 to 20 minutes are the most raw times that you can program your brain. So when you wake up in the morning, do not click the text message button. Do not click the email button. And sure as hell, do not go on social media. Don't do it. I'm telling you, it will ruin everything for you. Then when you wake up, I want you to drink coffee, right? Well, excuse me. I want you to drink 6 to 10 ounces of water because most of the time you're tired. It's because you're dehydrated, right? I want you to brush your teeth because when you brush your teeth, for whatever reason in the morning, you don't go back to bed, even if you're tired. I want you to go downstairs. You're in your kitchen. If you're in an apartment, and put your cup of coffee on. I want the first thing to hit your brain is that I am statement 3 to 5 times. Then I want you to listen to a minimum of 5 to 10 minutes of positive audio and exercise a minimum of 30 minutes a day where you do one thing that's uncomfortable for you that you don't want to do and keep going. David Goggins calls it, he figured it out. Like, you know how they have governors on cars that talk about how fast you can go? Well, there's a governor that we put on ourselves. It's not that the car can't go faster. Like, you could have the governor removed. You could literally go almost like your whole like speedometer, right? So walking lunges is a great example. Your legs start burning and you're like, oh, I could maybe do one more. I need to stop. No, man, that's the governor. That's only 40% of the shit that's in your body. You got to keep going. So once you start programming yourself to do this, by the time your morning's done and you busted your butt in the gym, everything else is easier. And when your mind starts saying, oh, I don't know if I could do this, it's going to be hard. Like, nope, I could do it. I got it. And now all of a sudden you have control over yourself. Make sense? Then when you get back home, hold on, Jess. Then when you get back home, I want you to go take a shower. I want you to eat good food and not put shit in your body. Then remember the 10-minute business plan that I tell you all to do, right? Should review your 10-minute business plan. What income producing activities I do, what distractions got in the way, what will I do differently? Start programming your mind to seek and destroy those distractions to be more productive. And then you could hit those 3 buttons: Instagram, text, email, when you're in your office. If you did this every single day, the I am statement, and you did the rest of the routine, your 5 working days, there's no way you could not make more money. Impossible. Literally impossible. But it starts with you. Think about this. Has anyone updated their iOS lately with the new upgrade? It's really good, right? So here's my question. If you update your cell phone 1 to 2 times a year, when was the last time you updated your operating system as a person? We don't. You want to know why? A couple of people answer this. Why don't we upgrade our operating systems?
Many people don't like change.
Yeah, because we'll go back to the beginning, Wendy, right? Your brain is wired for certainty and comfort, and change it is literally the opposite of one of our most primary needs. The ability, our brain's job is to make us feel safe, right? It's like if you're on a ladder, that's why you have two hands on it, because it's certain and comfortable, right? Like you go like this, you put your hands up. It's like, you know, when you go to those like team things or relationship things, they're like, okay, trust fall, and even you're falling and you know there are 5 people behind you, you don't want to do it because it's uncomfortable, right? Why else don't we update our operating systems?
Procrastination.
Procrastination. Okay, anybody else?
I
One more
think
person.
it's fear
I
of
don't think we need it.
We don't think we need it, right? That's so far the best one. Anyone else? Or was one more person that was going to say something?
We don't prioritize ourselves. We prioritize everybody else but us. I do.
Bingo. So we don't think we need it. We prioritize everything else, right? Like now let's add the other enhancement into it, reality. There is nothing and no one in your life telling you to do this and why it's even important. So it makes sense to you. Here, so let me ask you the next question. Why do you update your iOS when Apple gives you an update? Anybody?
It does it for you. The iOS does it for you.
If you allow it
On the
to.
charger, you put it on the charger and it does it for us.
Well, guess what? If you show up to these sessions and you can listen and follow directions, I can do it for you too, right? Like it's the same thing, right? We don't upgrade our operating system because we haven't wired ourselves to realize how important that is, right? I realize I can tell you that my purpose is to maximize my human potential on this earth. My biggest fear in life is being in the same place I was 1 year to the next. You put those things together, like I constantly have to upgrade my operating system or my worst fears and my purpose won't come to life. I realize that I'm like, like that's interesting, but everyone else is not me and everyone else is unique and that's great, right? Because that's what makes people people. But if you don't upgrade your iOS, you're going to be stuck, right? It's like I've been doing a lot of calls with people that have questions about the program for next year, right? And some of the things I hear is, I've heard this already, and I always laugh because it doesn't mean, yeah, your parents told you a lot of things you heard, but sometimes it took you to your 20s to figure out that what they said was right. The other one is, and this is one of my favorite ones, is I've heard all this stuff, now I'm going to take time to implement it. Well, it's like, the reality is, if you didn't implement it with all of us here, community accountability groups, how are you going to do it on your own? And that iOS is last year's model, not this year's model, because a lot's changed, right? So we constantly have to keep updating our iOS, our ways of thinking, our personal development, our routines, our habits, our structures. But if you start off by saying, I am the standard, everything changes around it. Everything. Does that make sense to all of you? Who here is actually going to do this? Who here's got one aha moment today, right? About something that they're going to start thinking about a little differently, right? Look, if you don't upgrade your iOS, it's like having an iPhone 2. You're having like, there's an experience. I always say this is, you know, one of the things that I always think about in coaching is I'm always at the capacity of my current experiences, right? So your iOS, the capacity ends on December 31st of this year's experiences. You have to upgrade and expand so that your capacity can continue growing. If not, you're the capacity of your past experiences. Nothing more, nothing less. It's all of us as people. So write this, reprogram your brain, have a morning routine. At the end of this morning routine, Tony Robbins calls it like creating a state, right? Anyone go to Unleash the Power Within? So, you know, Namiti's like, make your move, right? And he's like literally wiring this and anchoring that experience of doing it. And like what I learned out of this, I'm like, great, I could do a set of activities every single day that programs my mind, my body, my energy to be in a peak performance state to start the day, right? I start going into my text, my energy changes. I start going into the email, my focus changes, right? I start going on Instagram, I start thinking about dumb shit because I'm having no control over what's going into my subconscious mind or my brain to start the day. It's the most important thing you could do. You have to realize From the second you turn your phone on and start hitting those 3 buttons, you're doing stuff for everyone else besides you. No chance to upgrade that operating system. Suzanne, yep, distraction is bad. And thank you for renewing. We saw that come through today. So, you know, it's a big thing. Andrea?
Did you just say that if you check your social media and whatnot, that it's the antithesis of upgrading your operating system?
No, it's so when you're checking when you wake up in the morning, right? Between whatever time you wake up and when you start work, emails, text messages, and social media are all things that take away from your time, that put the wrong thoughts in your brain. And you can't upgrade your operating system because you're operating on a default mode of just doing stuff for everyone but yourself.
Got it.
And this is where real burnout comes from, right? Because remember I said, you have to build yourself up to withstand the pressure and challenges in the world. How do you do that when you're not filling your own cup? It's impossible. That's why I thought it was really important to have a motivation session, right? Our motive to act and understanding how we could program our brain so that essentially when we go into next year, we're setting ourselves up for long-term success. Jess, you had a question.
Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to confirm because I was writing down everything that you said. You should do that statement that you wrote after you like brushed it, like basically after you're out of bed kind of situation, and then do everything else.
The last thing you do when you go to sleep, I want you to read that. Obviously, if you
Write it.
any of us, yeah, exactly. Read this 3 to 5 times. So you'll start thinking about it in your sleep, in your dreams, and 3 to 5 times right when you wake up in the morning. Do not put anything else. If you want to put on like a YouTube motivational video, right? If you ever like need motivation, just type in David Goggins motivation. If he can't inspire you to be motivated, I always say that most people are hopeless. Like it's just really like there's something in there.
Okay, so basically, like instead of you're saying brush your teeth and drink the water because then you won't go back to bed and then read.
Yep, and then start your coffee, right? So on the top of this I am statement, Andrew, right? On like, if it's on a piece of paper, right? Like this, on top right here, it says, I am the standard, right? So the first thing you want to know is that I am the standard. Like that's what I'm working to be this year. I am the standard. I am the standard that everyone else is going to be like, including myself.
I see.
Right?
Thank you.
And then you're going to write these things, and this mission statement should have your why, which is the reason, your purpose, which is a deep connection, and your motivation, what you're doing it for, as if it already happened, right? All of it, right? You need to look at this mission statement, and it should make you want to jump into the world like that, like excited. This thing should inspire you and motivate you and make you want to be bigger than any of your distractions or circumstances, regardless of what they are. And Andrew, I get some people don't like the gym, but go out and do something, right? Like do something that your brain tells you to stop or you force it to keep going. It's a skill and a muscle you keep building. Go ahead.
Okay, so since you have called me out for being like putting myself out there and all that, I'm a lazy ass. I pick up the phone or my computer and I go on X or I go on YouTube or whatever, and I don't do anything of value in the morning. I do find out that this Daniel Penny got found not guilty, which is a big, huge fucking deal, if you ask me, for saving people. But I sit on my ass and do nothing. In fact, so much so that I canceled my online yoga subscription thing, which was up for renewal because I'm not using it. So I know I'm not the only one who's thinking this of the 40 people on this call, and I'm not the only one who does this, and maybe you do it in a different form than I do, but I'm brave enough to say it. So.
One, I love you. Thank you. Right. So that takes a lot of courage to do. But here's the thing. Think of how well you're doing in life. Right. And now think about how much better it could be if you get like, and you stop living this. Let me share this with you all. So, all right, we're going to go longer. You guys, like, I went like 20 minutes longer last time, but this just seemed to be you guys all want to keep going?
I have.
Right. So look how old this notebook is. Can you tell that this thing is old?
Yeah.
Yes, this thing is 14, 15 years old. Let me read this to you. Whatever you own leaves you alone. Then you can focus on creating. Get away from the things, good or bad. There's consequences to everything. So here are my Shrog, the younger version, persistent complaints. There is not enough time in the day. I'm ahead of most people my age. I'm not organized. I can't manage my time. I'm doing great for my 4th year in real estate with no real training. And this was my story. The story I tell myself, I'm 27 years old. I'm way ahead of most people. I know there's not enough time in the day. I'll get organized soon. And it's okay where I am right now, considering where I have come from. So what is the payoff, right? Because all of our excuses have a cost and a payoff. My payoff was justification for not doing what I should be doing, watching TV, doing what I want, and slacking off. Cost, not realizing my full potential, playing small, and giving all my power to my story, which won't ever help me reach my goals I want in my life. So you can either do, there's a fork in the road. You can do what you said you wanted. You could do what I want to do, or do what I said I was going to do, right? That's me. I'm just like all of you. So Andrea, my advice to you is you're going to today, I'm going to force you into this, sign up for a yoga class and get your ass out of your house in the morning and go, right? And like literally, I kid you not, when these cell phones are, and I know you've seen The Social Dilemma. Go watch it again, because every time you watch it, you hear like a different part. These things are literally built to the colors in email and Gmail, down to like the dopamine hits that they give you from Instagram, right?
I don't go on Instagram. That one I don't do.
All right, X, Instagram, all
No,
that.
it's a different, right. It's a different line of
You
cocaine.
could end up in a rabbit hole of shit that has nothing to do with you,
For sure. For
right?
sure.
So,
I can be virtuous by saying I don't go on Instagram, you see.
yeah, that's good. So it's a fact is a fact, So here's the thing. You don't do that. You should be taking the time in the morning for yourself.
So I just got a new puppy and I'm trying to figure that out. I've never
Yeah,
had a dog.
go great. Go walk your dog every morning.
And he's getting a shot today, and hopefully after today I'll be able to. So
Good.
by the way, I don't know what the hell I'm doing with this dog.
So you should walk. By the way, I'm telling you, if you have the time and resources, pay somebody to train the dog for you. It's the best investment you'll ever make in your life. So look, like these things are all part of who we are, right? Indefinitely. But the reality is there are not enough coaches, there are not enough speakers, there are not enough people saying, hey, work on you, right? Mindset, performance, tactics. Coaching programs teach you tactics, but if you can't think, can't upgrade your operating system, don't know how performance calendars, these other things work, you're never going to do anything. That's why I wanted to have this situation with you, because I care about you, right? Like part of my purpose is like creating like the most collaborative community of people, right? Where they feel good about their lives, they feel good about their businesses, that we're able to bring you in person and give you all the things that you want. So it's like, as we get into next year, it's like, look, we're in such an interesting place in time right now, right? Right now, first of all, the real estate industry is the last industry on earth that seems to adopt any trends that are going around the rest of the world. Like when Zillow came out with Google Zillow reviews for clients, it was like, whoa, what are they doing, right? When every other business in the world, including Google, had Google reviews for businesses for years before then. So right now, the difference between agents that use AI is like this and like this. It's not too much because people are just scratching the surface. Yesterday, when I spent 3 hours just organizing my house, I spent 3 hours listening for all of us, like more learnings on AI. Within the next year, it's going to be like this. People that know how to use this are going to work faster, are going to be more productive, right? They're going to earn more money and they're going to have more free time.
What are you
100%.
listening to? Like a podcast or?
Literally, I just go on YouTube and I type in AI chat, like different ways to do prompts, anything I can think of, right? I don't have any source of truth, but I'm taking it and I'm filtering all this stuff down, right? So I'll give you an example. So we have our whole curriculum built out for next year, right? Now I'm going back and I'm figuring out how to integrate a minimum of 5 hours of an AI use for every single one of our trainings. Think about how powerful the one we did for like learning your buyers, right? We're spending a lot of money and resources on building an actual AI coach with Chris Smith, right? We spent a lot of time perfecting an AI search tool. It's not perfect, but it's about to be perfected to the point where it's at least we give it to you all as a beta, a handful of you, right? So to the place where now you can use AI to find the documents you want in our platform. We are 100% AI forward-thinking company, which means you all will be AI forward-thinking agents. It is mind-blowing what you can do with this, right? So here's an example. You can take what you learned here today and say, I am looking to build a mission statement that talks about my why, the reason for doing something, the purpose that deeply connects me to it, motivation, like what am I doing it for, as if it all already happened. Can you ask me 15 to 20 questions one by one to help me formulate this statement? And then you could walk through all of it and say, this is what I want to use the statement for. Boom, you could at least have your first draft created that you can edit yourself. Do you know how many coaches that would take? A lot. You don't need money for this stuff. And I'm not going to sit here and make pretend like, hey guys, we need to do like 4 more sessions on this. No, go use the tools that you have. This all exists. This will be, in my opinion, the most pivotal year that's ever existed in a real estate agent's career. Because not only is it the new world of the NAR settlement and people, I want to understand what I get for the compensation that I pay, but you have this massive, not even 5,000 pound gorilla, the size of the freaking meteor equivalent to the size of Earth crashing into business called AI. It's faster, it's more accurate, it doesn't talk back, it doesn't come late, it doesn't not feel like doing things, right? Do you know how I know that this really is something even more impactful than I thought? 3, generally speaking, right? Like this is not like private information, but I do 3 coaching calls on one-on-one clients for $3,000 a month. So it's $1,000 for a 30-minute call. Do you know what I have found that more than half of our clients are doing on these calls? They're coming to these calls with a list of stuff like this, and they're literally sitting there in a screen share and having me do it in AI for them. That's what this, yeah, right? 100%. And at first I was like, well, why? I'm like, and they go, you just did 3 months worth of work. Another person's like, I would have paid a social media company $10,000 for doing this. And I'm like, huh? I'm like, I need to give this away to all the group clients too, right? Like, it's not mutually exclusive. So you get to choose who you want to be, right? So for next year, a couple highlight housekeeping items. There is a 15% discount and there is a one-on-one call with me. And no, you don't have to pick one or the other, you get both. Right? So when you renew, we're gonna, one of my goals was I wanted to talk next year. I wanted to talk to, outside of reaching out at the end of the year, I wanted to talk and do an individual coaching session for all the people that wanted to like really take action. So we can work on anything you want. There's like an in-depth intake form, the call's recorded, you get notes. And generally speaking, I have not found anyone that has one problem in their business I can't solve in 30 minutes or less. One person came and we literally built them out a 6-month marketing plan for their emails. What is the base price that we'll receive? I think it's $3,600. So with the discount, I believe it comes out to $3,050 plus the free coaching call. It's already out. So Andrew will send you the email. So I really,
I just want to share, yesterday we did an open house. We had 20 parties that signed in. And of those, and 3 or 4 that didn't sign in. Of the people who came through, almost none of them were represented. Almost none. So we have a lot of work that we can do and a lot of people who need our help.
Mm-hmm. So if you think about this, somebody just sent me a private message, like, how is this different than this year, right? Simple. One, the whole world has changed, right? Number two, we added a prospecting track, right? Because think of it next year as a major and a minor. Everyone should major in prospecting because you need new clients, and pick a minor, pick a buyer or seller. And what we're saying to people is you should spend 2 hours a week, which is less time than most people spend on social media a day, and then do the work and you'll win, right? Pretty simple. We have all of our sessions mapped out. All the deliverables and everything are made. They're pre-attached to the program. There'll be session notes, like people enjoyed the year. 2 years ago, they said they really liked it, so we brought those back. There's 4 in-person events outside the holiday party and maybe Friendsgiving. So we could say 5, right? There'll be 3 quarterly, right, events here in the office. So you can come one time throughout the year. We can fit 70, 80 people here, and then we'll stream it live. So, you know, some people started talking about, can we make a vision, a mission statement? Whatever it is as a group for that quarter, we'll come up with the topic together and we'll provide the training, right? The second event, so those are 3 that people can come to. It's a chance to visit and hang out with us. I'd love to see you. And the big event in September is our first annual client-only event. It's only for clients. Right? So generally speaking, in years past, we've done bigger events. So if we can get to a general event for people that are not our clients, that's great. If we don't get to it, that's great too. But the most important thing is that we get to have an event where all of you get to meet each other, right? We have our AI integrations. We also have the skill building roadmaps that are built, right? Where by the end of Q1 or sooner, the platform will be gamified so you can start tracking which skills you've mastered and what activities you need to do to master them. I've partnered with Chris Smith to make, by the end of Q1, like the great, like the tech that I've seen and the framework for the AI course. I mean, AI coaching is insane, right? And all of his content is around marketing and social. It's all the other parts that we're missing from here, right?
Who is
Well,
this person you're speaking of?
Chris Smith. Chris co-founded Curator, 2 times best-selling author, has been featured in Forbes, arguably the greatest marketer in the real estate industry. I've been following Chris and going to his keynotes since I was 25 years old, right? Great guy, super sharp. Him and I did the Get More Listings with AI session for the free Compass month. We had over 2,000 people attend that session. It was the most attended session in any of them. So we're bringing in resources. We brought in an expert person for prospecting, right? Our accountability groups are now, we're going to be personally coaching the group. So what we learn in, like, if we had this motivation session, the next session would be directly connected to what you do, what you learned here, right? So attention, I hear it for the first time. Retention, I get to repeat it in a collaborative setting. Repetition, I'm going to find a role play partner. So we now know through 4 years of doing this and 17,000 hours and 6+ years of Compass coaching, what works, right? So we have a very defined formula, and this will be the crux of our program, right? Because it's the 3 things that never change in real estate: prospecting, working with buyers, working with sellers, and then, you know, all the AI integrations, surprise and delights, bonus trainings, in-person things, pop-up stuff for you guys. And that's what our focus is next year. Wendy, I'll send you the email as well. Kelly, you too. Hold on. I'm spelling everyone's name, and I need to go to the eye doctor. My eyesight is shot.
You suffer from CSS.
What's that?
Can't see stuff.
Yeah. I used to have 15-10 vision, right? Now this eye is like, if I go like this, you all look like you're in the witness protection program. It gets kind of blurry and weird. Yeah, it's true. So look, I think all of us have this distinct choice right now. The road is going to go 2 ways, right? You're going to choose to upgrade your operating system and really get focused and organized, which we will help you all do. we've realized that with consistency, you don't need to spend all these hours doing things, right? Like if you spend 2 hours a week, like an hour a week in session, an hour a week, like networking, role playing, being in an accountability group, like Jody's group here, and then you just practice 30 to 45 minutes a day, there's no way your business, your life, your bank account won't get better. And when we show you all the stuff to do with AI, everything's gonna be done faster. Like we've tweaked the way that you, and Andrew, I don't think you were here for this one, but I figured out a way that you can literally describe a buyer, have it learn your buyers, and then start sticking properties. It's going to write all your collections comments. It'll personalize it. It could turn it into emails. Do you know how much it expands your capacity to work as an agent? It's incredible. This is you should be the most excited about the world we're going into. Like ChatGPT in our house is something that everyone uses, even my kids that are 8 and 11. They're putting everything in there. I started teaching my son how to make images. My daughter will have to make something from school. Daddy, can I have your phone? What are you doing? I'm going to put this in ChatGPT and say, explain it so a third grader can understand because this recipe was made for adults. Like that's the world we're living in. You all have to embrace this. It's not complicated. It just takes time. So the most important message from today is it's time for we all upgrade our operating systems going into 2025. And it all starts with controlling this up here, right? You all give too much to everyone every single day not to be taking care of yourself. It's where all the burnout happens. Please show yourself love. I'm like literally begging you, please. Please spend a few hours in the morning taking care of yourself, filling your body with good stuff. Now, I'll share something else with you, as I don't know anyone else I can use all these personal examples with without somebody calling me and being like, what the, you know? So I'm a healthy person. I eat healthy, generally speaking. I exercise 4 to 6 times a week, right? Like I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs, right? Even recreational, I don't do anything, right? Like go to work, go home, spend time with my family, friends sometimes, like that's it. So one of the things that everyone needs to save for is functional doctor, I believe. Like, so based on the DNA in your fingerprints and certain genetic markers and your blood type, there's actually foods that you should eat and not eat, and foods that really inflame your body. So a couple of years ago, when I was like really lean, I had a lot of people tell me I had body dysmorphia because I always felt like I was bloated, fat. And the reason was one of the foods in my red column that I've been feeding my body for all of these years is chicken. Can't eat chicken. It's like one of the worst things I could have. So my body's constantly inflamed. Then I started looking into my hormones and all these other things. My entire stuff is out of whack. The whole thing, right? And I would have never known, right? I'm on the early sign of pre-diabetes. How could that humanly be possible, right? I'm at a high probability to get a stomach ulcer or a stomach something like that too because of my gut biome. This is why people sometimes drop dead and have no idea. They don't spend time on themselves and they don't go to the doctor. They'll spend money, they'll spend thousands of dollars eating out at restaurants, but they won't spend half or a fraction of that on themselves. So there is 2 ways to do it. If you're near me in the tri-state area, I can give you the place that we went to. It is literally not expensive. It was $600 for the food test. Now, I'm not an affiliate. I don't get any money out of this other company, but my business coach uses it. He personally knows the CEO and 2 of the investors in the company. This is another one. You should go through, have your blood work done, your gut checked out, understand what foods you can eat and not eat. You'd be amazed how much better you feel. And get the right supplements and stuff for your health. Does this have anything to do with coaching? Yeah, 100%, because I care about all of you as people, not just if your bank account grows. All that money in the world is not going to mean anything if you're sick. So I'm not here to say what you eat, what you don't eat, and what you choose to do with the information, but I believe everyone has the right to know. And if you just go to a regular doctor, they're never going to tell you how to do this. Never. It is not in their interest to cure you. You go for a physical, they check some stuff out. I'm not feeling well, they give you drugs. Treat the symptom. Prescribe a pill. Not cure the cause of why it's happening. All right, well, I wanted to share a lot with you today, and I feel that the mission was accomplished, and I hope you all got a lot out of it. We're just doing it once, Kelly. There'll be a recording. And in terms of on the West Coast, when I generally travel around the country for Compass, right? So you're in Scottsdale. So here's the thing. I believe I'm going to be in Scottsdale for 5 full days for a football event in February. So I don't know if you're rejoin again for next year, and we'll do our one-on-one coaching session in person in Scottsdale when I'm there. And we'll spend a little extra time together. Sound good? Come to Naples. I do come to Florida often. So I don't know if it's exactly Naples, but I will be in Florida next year. Coconut Grove. Yeah, Miami, Orlando, that whole general area. Yes. I'll be in Florida at least like 2 to 3 times next year. Stephen Bush and Jeff Polishuk are my brothers from another mother. And Florida's always like my home away from home, has always been for the last 4 years. Silicon Valley. I'll make it out there some point. I've never actually been to Silicon Valley. I do go to the Ghirardelli Square office. So for those of you who asked, Kelly, Wendy, Andrea, I'll send you all the information. Everyone else should be in your email. Look, and if you have any questions of like, how would I think about this program for myself? How will it help me? Or I kind of feel stuck or have something going on, just email me, like literally email me. I'll put my email here. And in the subject line, you don't have to write anything else. Just write call me and I'll actually pick up the phone and call you. It's as simple as that. Like we spent so much time together building a foundation, like next year's the time to scale it, right? We want to get out of this idea of growth of just more manual effort and hours and scaling. That's what strategy, systems, and people. So for everybody, thank you all. I love my heart. I love you all, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye, everybody.